The All India Football Federation will be meeting on an emergency basis in the national capital, and this is going to be happening on Thursday. Officials of the football associations of all the 35 states, we are told, will be attending this important meet to look into solutions that could be possible after this big ban that FIFA has announced. This is a crisis for Indian football, and of course you are seeing officials of various football associations from the various states of the country in a huddle. They are going to be assembling in the national capital this Thursday to look for possible solutions to go ahead and fend for football, so to speak. And the fact that the Under-17 World Cup in the country is also, there's a big question mark on that. That also will be part of those important deliberations in this particular meeting that is going to be convened this Thursday in Delhi. My colleague Shaugata now joins me on the broadcast for more on this. Shaugata, needless to say, all the football associations of various states in a huddle to look for some kind of a solution, because it's a huge crisis for Indian football.
Well, most certainly so. And it's not just the Under-17 Women's World Cup which will be affected, but also the fact that several clubs which are playing, especially Mohun Bagan, playing, the AFC, scheduled to play the AFC Cup, that is now in jeopardy. Or any club in India will not be able to participate in any kind of international tournament until this suspension remains. You see, the FIFA has sent a detailed mail to the All India Football Federation, in which it has underlined the reasons why it has decided to take that step in Zurich, early this morning, when that decision was convened to the All India Football Federation here. And the reasons that the FIFA has cited is that it is grossly unhappy with the fact that the AIFF has made no attempts to convene an election, of its body, and there is no formal body in place which is elected as per norms of the federation, and despite the fact that a joint agreement was reached upon between the AIFF, the AFC, as well as the FIFA earlier this year, no attempts were made to put that decision or agreement of convening an election was made by the federation so far. The federation, of course, maintains that since the matter is a sub judice case in the before the Supreme Court, it doesn't have too much of authority on that regard. But obviously, there were attempts by the All India Football Federation to change its constitution, to amend its constitution. And while the FIFA was of the opinion that the elections should happen first, and the process of changing the constitution can happen later, because that's a time-consuming matter. It seems that the federation here is more keen on changing the constitution before it goes for an election. So that is where I think the bottleneck remains at this point in time. As you rightly pointed out, on Thursday, the AIFF is meeting on an emergency basis to find a solution to this deadlock that currently persists. But yes, you're absolutely right. It's Indian football that is going to be affected very adversely under the current circumstances.
Oh, absolutely, Shaugata. And in fact, you have brought us this particular breaking news. We have accessed that letter, FIFA's letter to the All India Football Federation of the country, where the details as to why the Indian body has been suspended have really been put out. We are putting out that letter for our viewers on the screen. Shaugata really breaking down all the details that the letter really entails. Shaugata, the third-party intervention that FIFA talks about, the major ground for suspension of AIFF is the big question here. And also under scanner is the role of Mr. Praful Patel. Just throw light on that as well.
Well, you see, the All India Football Federation hasn't had elections since 2019. It's almost 3 years now that the federation is running without an elected, office bearer body. And the reason initially that was cited was, the COVID pandemic, which led to the postponement of the elections from 2019 onwards, 2020 onwards. And, obviously at that point in time, Mr. Praful Patel was at the helm of affairs as far as the sports, or the Football Federation in India is concerned, and also the fact that the matter went to court when certain interested or stakeholders moved the Supreme Court, stating the impasse that prevailed at that point in time in the All India Football Federation. The Supreme Court, in due course of its hearing, settled on a committee of administrators, and right now there is a 3-member committee of administrators which is in charge of handling affairs for the All India Football Federation, which is unacceptable as far as the FIFA is concerned, because FIFA, as per its norms, rules, regulations, Constitution, and all its member bodies across the world require the federations to have an elected body who would run the show for the football in their own respective countries. And All India Football Federation has been running the show without an elected body for the last 3 years. As a result of which, there have been, multiple deliberations between the FIFA as well as the federation here, and also bodies like the AFC, which runs the show for Asian football across the continent. So
absolutely. Shogata, thank you so much for joining us. I'm sorry I'd have to interrupt